Hi, my name's Adam. I'm here with Charter Conductor. I'm the creator of Charter Conductor and the Military Freight Railroad course, the Code for the Regulation course, and the Equipment Operator Basic course. I have a list of 2 grants that I've applied for, which were uneventfully not submitted at the right time because of commercial agency, government entity codes, and SAM's registration. We're gonna first read. We've got some notebooks here for you today that will cover about the unions, the apprenticeship program, agreements, and stuff like that, accreditation, and a list of Department of Education agency related CFDAs and Florida administration codes, as well as a charter school model plan and some other aspects. First, we're going to go over the Navy Postgraduate Research Initiative Announcement Grant that's listed on the page if you go to Grant Proposals. The statement, it starts out with the project construct. We're going to go over 2 of these, and then we're going to start the apprenticeship book, and we'll move from there. Just so you know what the 2 different grants are on the website. The Navy Postgraduate Research School Initiative Announcement. All right, the objective is harmonization of the to employ provide highly skilled jobs with the employment training in Tampa Bay with the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainmen, be able to meet the qualification of the Federal Railroad Administration with the final rule in conductor certification. The harmonization is a petition to ballot over the Navy Postgraduate Research Initiative Agency announcement to be consulted with the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainmen. Hall Division in Tampa. It's a mandated curriculum of the Locomotive Office Apprenticeship, the Department of Labor. It's basically USAAR, U.S. Army U.S. Army Reserve Work-Based Study Program, apprentice. So it's a apprenticeship program, and the purpose of the start of the U.S. Army Air Reserve Board Apprenticeship Work Study with the Department of Labor, the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainmen. Teams are fulfilling the FRA criteria with the CFR 49 Part 243 with the final rule in Conductor Certification Division 216 in Florida and with the help of the President Ed McPhail. Meet the state requirements of Florida Department of Education, Department of Labor, the hybrid curriculum, researching reports, and participating in pre-training and post-training remarks. Reviewing, surveying, and efficiency acceptance of the training material. Also, recommendation for the further implementation operation crew review board in the railroad industry. With a projected 2,000-hour cadet on-the-job training and about a scheduled circular Vita milestone deployment of program experiences encountered implementations in the railway division level program and sponsoring local need locomotive-driven education employment in the metropolitan area and creating an apprenticeship about 100 jobs will be created and will change Central Florida's method of acquiring job with the railroad. Also, the second grant, or the first grant, that was Navy Postgraduate Research Grant, you can look at the pre-solicitation notice and the abstract for the American Apprenticeship Grant, which was in 2015. It will probably resurface itself in 2020, so keep your eyes on Department of Labor and Employment Training Agencies and grant.gov. And if you want, if you find a grant that suits our company, just tell me and I'll try to write one. The pre-solicitation notice for employers ready. The grant is for 3 employment commitment letters to commit the program sponsored by the Department of Labor, Office Apprenticeship or Hybrid, with the proposal statement of work. With your company and interest facilitate with the project after a consortium with the Department of Labor and that with the project awardment. In your company wish for the program sign, please email Nugent Rosenberger Adam at Hotmail. If you want an employer sponsor my website, go ahead. Basically, the lead application for the American Apprenticeship Program was for the Tampa Bay area, primary partnership with it was written for the Florida Gulf Coast Railroad Museum. The Navy Postgraduate was written for the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainmen. It was the total funding was $22.5 million to $5 million for the American Apprenticeship Grant, and also it was also proposing a hybrid curriculum of the federal work study program, giving the trade within the industry skills awarded certificates in diploma in the railroad industry. It was for the targeted for the serving the metropolitan area of the Tampa Bay. The occupations were locomotive conductor, locomotive electrician, diesel mechanic, brakeman, track maintainer, dispatcher, cargo specialist. And let's move on and we'll see what the all right. That was the start, and now I'm going to switch the camera around, and we'll start with the tape number 2. We'll start with the apprenticeship notebook I have for you. All right, this is what I call the blue notebook. Let's just say, before we start anything, we have the Brotherhood Locomotive Engineering Trainment Division 216. Some of the contacts are listed in this book. Also, a labor relations manager with CSX. I have her information. We have the Department of Union Files and Forms. Starting with the labor organization form, we have a information report for your labor organization information report, followed by the form LM1, labor organizational annual report for use only by labor organizations with less than $250,000 in total annual receipts. Labor organizational annual report again. Labor organization annual report. These are all different forms. The employer report. Whether it be a corporation, partnership, an individual, or other. You sign president right here. Official year reporting. We're not really looking to create a union, but if you want to, I'm looking for the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainmen, but this would be a trustee report. Some of the liabilities, also covering accounting. Reporting of selection of delegated officers and delegated officers. Terminal of trusteeship report. Another terminal of trusteeship. Agreement and activities report. Receipt disbursement report. Labor organization officer employee report. And security company annual report. And now we'll move on to part 2, the apprenticeship agreement. All right, then notice that it says the apprenticeship agreement is name and signature for the contracting parties, apprenticeship program sponsor and participating employer, and that's the apprenticeship agreement. The number of hours spent by the application work is on job and time based. A description of the skill sets to be attained with the completion of the competency-based program, including on-the-job training component. Minimum of the number of hours to be spent in an apprenticeship. Description of the skill set is to be attained in the completion of a hybrid program. The number of hours to be spent related in supplemental instructions required not to be less than 144 hours per year. And then you'd have an apprenticeship program is designed pursuant to Chapter 6A23 Florida Administration Codes. Every registered apprenticeship program must have at least one registered apprenticeship with the following specified period of time, which is not to exceed 1 year. Quality and the program performance shows the quality assurance and equitable opportunity, compliance reviews, completion rates, adherence to program standards, compliance with the rules relating to apprenticeship program standards. And then I highlighted some of these. Remember that chairman is the commissioner of the education, with the commissioner designer designees. Department means the Florida Department of Education registered office means the designing of the authorized act on behalf of the department in the matter of the registration program and apprenticeship agreements, the general supervision of apprenticeship programs with the registered. All right, you have your apprenticeship state council. That was on those 3 different aspects. Then it goes into pre-apprenticeships, which I'm not interested in, but you can find that in 623. All right, the following apprenticeship standards are prescribed for the apprenticeship program in Chapter 6A23. The standard of must contain provisions concerning the following: employment training of the apprenticeship within the skilled occupation. Determine the apprenticeship of the individual apprenticeship must be measured either through completion of the hours of industry studying on train at least 2,000 hours exclusively with the time spent related to instruction time-based approach and the attainment of the competency-based approach, or a blended of time-based and competency-based approach as a hybrid approach. The hybrid approach is a approach meaning for the individual apprenticeship skill, the acquisition through the combination of specified minimum number of hours on the job training, successful demonstration, competency described in the work process schedule. Also, the determination, the standard of apprenticeship determination, appropriately approved with the program standard with the program sponsor, subject to the approval of the Department of Determination, appropriately apprenticeship application within the program standards. These show the provisions, work experience on training on the job, allocation of approximate time, minimum of 144 hours each year, apprenticeship is required. Such instruction may be given in the classroom via the electronic media of the industrial approved correspondence course equivalent, or the other forms of self-study to improve development. The entry, the progressive, the increasing schedule weights, the rates is a minimum for each incremental period of the apprenticeship. The established journeyman hourly rate among the participating employers stands in dollars and cents. The entry apprenticeship wage shall not be less than 35% of the established journey work hourly rate by employers in the program. The ratio of the apprenticeship to journey work considered the provisions, training, safety, continuing employment, applicability provisions, collective bargaining agreement for the employer and the apprenticeship occupation. 2 apprenticeships for every 3 journey workers thereafter shall be responsible for the apprenticeship committee and sponsor. Ensure a allowable ratio of the apprenticeship within journey worker consistently maintained with the program as a whole, each with the participating employer on the job. All right. Your probationary period is a reasonable in relation to the full apprenticeship term, but the full credit of such period is total completion of the apprenticeship, which cannot exceed 25% of the length of the program, or 1 year, whichever is shorter. All right, another one is the required minimum qualification for the apprenticeship and internship at the eligible starting at not less than 16 years old. Provisions with participation employment employers agreement that each participating employer shall sign with the participation employer agreement with the program and accepting the forward form the requirements of program standards unless otherwise provided with the collection bargaining agreement. Program sponsor shall notify the department of the current basis of any of the changes. And then we'll keep going here. All right, apprenticeship, apprentices, apprenticeship agreement. Your department, your apprenticeship representative is an individual representative of the Florida Department of Education properly on the active behalf of the department and manner concerning the apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, and on-the-job training. We went over some of the apprenticeship standards. The completion certificate means the official document department of the individual complete with the training verified with the program sponsor. The completion rate, electronic media, established industry practices, established journey hourly rate. We went over a little bit of that. Joint apprenticeship committee, journey workers, and non-apprenticeship sponsors, apprenticeship committee, on-the-job training, participating employer, is actively engaged throughout the one owns the employee with the actual work occupation being approached. Employers higher pay for the wage for the apprenticeship, the journey work, qualified training, personal training, apprenticeship, evaluates the apprenticeship, signature party of the collective bargaining agreement, the signature with the participating agreement with the program sponsor, registered agency of the department, and registered apprenticeship agreement, the registered apprenticeship program, registered officer, related instruction, your sponsor, work process. Yeah, it's hot as balls out here. I don't know if I'm making a good tape or not, but and then there's other 6A's, other things, but we're just in the union apprenticeship grant now. All right, this was a bulletin 210-30 U.S. Department of Employment Training Office Apprenticeship. This was a Subject list of occupations. This action code was for an office employment, state apprenticeship agencies. You have your career lattice, competency-based, hybrid, time-based, revised, and term, and also you would be like for recognized 950 occupations. If needed further information, please contact Kirk Jefferson, Division Standards National Industry Promotion 202-693-3399. And then there was one of them, I have it posted, I have this job bulletin posted. It was for Railroad Safety Inspector. It goes through the FRA Operational Inspector Board. You'll learn more with their code federal regulations than what would be required for the Railroad Safety Inspector. Basically, that's one book. We have covered the whole chapter of final the FRA and the code federal regulations. You have your National Apprenticeship Act of 1937, also known as the Fitzgerald Act. You can be eligible for Women Apprenticeship for the Non-Traditional Occupation Grant Funds Initiative, Apprenticeship USA Accelerator Grant State Expansion. For acceptance of the apprenticeship, individual apprenticeship program must be at least 16 years old. An apprenticeship with a hazardous complete occupation individual must be 18 years old. Remember the website, remember the Department of Labor, Employment Training Agency.gov, Office of Apprenticeship, and, or OA. Alright, this is the actual employment, the Florida Department of Educational Agreements. You would employ on the Apprenticeship Employers Agreement, the agreement at the Florida between here and referred to as the employer here and after the program's parties. You have the parties to this agreement, the terms. Would file 6/8/23, the duties of the program sponsors, and also duties of the employer. Participating employers agreement. This agreement entered into this 0 day of between the parties in the name of the location, training standards represented by the training of the committee of the hereafter referred to as the program sponsor blank, and herein referred to the employer. Witness that the employer affirms that the designated training and having the reading of the program standards as a blank of the complication. Occupation formulated in industry program standard registered apprenticeship registration agency rules, and also registering employer, representing program sponsor. Florida Department of Education on-the-job training, pre-apprenticeship, or other division career adult education training agreement between the participant and training program sponsored. An agreement will be signed into the on this form. The witness also can go as a warning. Participating employer starting wage, title, term, probationary term, and remaining credit for previous completely completed by the participant, and also above participated in the full knowledge of certification, apprenticeship request verification, certification voided 90 days after the issue date, contracting authority, mailing address, contracting authorities and program, registered program sponsors, participator employer, projected started date, estimated project completion date, apprenticeship names, rapid ID number, registered trade, workman wage percentage for a sponsor, registered agency only registered, and then registration agency only below. Your signature authorization for the registered apprenticeship on the job training program number, and apprenticeship opening forms would be listed per occupation. You'd have sponsor, web address, content, county, occupation, beginning, different occupations, the beginning and the date of the county and occupation. Registered Apprenticeship College Assortment, Youth Department Employee Training Administration Offices of Apprenticeship, National Representative of the 2-year, 4-year Post-Secondary Administration, the State Representative 2 Post 4-year Post Regional Representative 2 4 Post Station, National Representative of the Registered Apprenticeship Sponsor, State Registration, Registered Apprenticeship Regional Representative of the Registered Apprenticeship, point of contact, type the name of the address, website, point of contact of the Registered Apprenticeship College Consortment. Alright, basically this means that you will be working with the apprenticeship as the organization serves as a coordinating role with to facilitate the membership and the consortment. So you get a school to actually be a place of educational facility. Also, Registered Apprenticeship College Consortment, application of Registered Apprenticeship Sponsor Membership Agreement. Sponsor, signal site, point of contact name, website address, point of contact local training, national address, training centers, website address, point of contact, name of third party validator, point of contact, registered apprenticeship, college consortium, institutional representative, compliance criteria, registered apprenticeship college consortium, a 2 or 4 year post-secondary name, the institution address, institution membership to apply to the entire school, entire institution membership to range of college majors and membership, ungraduated admission, placement testing, articulation agreement, registered apprenticeship agreement. So these are the non-traditional credit information, examinations, other training experiences, point of contact, non-immigrant work form, also your Department of Employment Standards, Wage, Hour Divisions. All right, hi, we're back in the Blue Book. We've just completed most of the and U.S. Department of Wage Survey interview record, wage survey, interview general instructions, and we have the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainment Division 216, Tampa, Lakeland, President Egg McPhail, Mike Kendall, Tim Dickerson, Fred McFarth, David Wyatt, Steve Moore, Rand Schmitz, Anthony Caruso, David Lowry, David Watt, Jacob Harrison, Mike Kendall, for questions about, once again, your career lattice, hybrid, time reserved, regional staff administrator for the Department of Regional Staff 3 would be our division, for the Department of Labor and Employment Trading Agency, Gov Regions, show for the program grants, contract specialist, federal project officer, accountant, Special Assistant Regional Administrative Director of Office States, Office Special Initiative Demonstrated, Chief Division Employment and Insurance, Audit Resolutions, other Chief Division Special Initiatives, Federal Projects. You know, it's too hot out. My camera stopped and cut the last tape because it wasn't. It was too hot out. The Florida Department of Education Career Adult Instruction, Education Instructional Adult Learning Training and Apprenticeship Instructor, also known as the FAC completion. You'll get a certificate for the year. With your first name, adult learning training sources. It's way too hot out here. You have your Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Division 781. Also going over some of the payroll, CSX run, some of the divisions, Florida. Officers and board. Once again, the Florida Legislative Board of Office, for the apprenticeship. David Watt, you'll see Florida, alright. This is apprenticeship forms again. Let's see if we have any more stuff that we could get run down real quick. Alright, apprenticeship labor, adjustment, let's see. Training apprenticeship and employment notice, define quality of pre-apprenticeship related tool resources. Your petition for trade adjustment assistance, this would be Linda D. Millis, U.S. Department of Employment Training Agency, millslinda.gov. Marshall Note, Florida Department of Economic Opportunity Building, and went over the training certificate. Your Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering official application for membership. The Florida Department of Adult Education, Career and Adult Education, Central Office Apprenticeship, Tallahassee. All right, continue again because the telephone is getting too hot, like where I'm video. You have your federal wage establishment information, application for federal assistance, your U.S. Department of Apprenticeship Office listing of registered apprenticeship. There's a couple listed. They either say time-based or the how many hours, like terms, bulletin number, OSNet code, Rapids code. All right, this is the Florida Railroad Administration Operating Crew Certification. U.S. Department would be was actually Joseph D. Riley from Washington D.C. Phone number 202-493-635. Mail stop 25 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Washington D.C. And CS names Lisa Massini, a Senior Vice President, Human Resource Labor Relations. And then it says to call Gary Senses 1877-835-5279. You have your General Chairman Dodge Jed, designated headquarters Department 500 Washington Street, 6th floor, 1455 Jacksonville, for Labor Relations Department. And then this is actually part of the letter. Chapter 4, Title 4, Part 242, on approval to design individual railroad programs by the FRA for the Code Federal Regulations Program. Florida, Richard Ted Norman, Program Director, Apprenticeship Program, Tallahassee, Florida, 325 West Gaining Street, room 754-850-245-0454. And further information, Railroad Apprenticeship Program. And that completes the blue book, and I'll come back and this completes the blue book. I am hot, like my computer, my phone's failing, it's so hot outside. All right, bye.